While this may come as a shock to some of you, simply put, diets don't work. I'm going to tell you a story about a younger version of myself, and I think a lot of you will relate to it. I was pretty thin throughout high school. I was active, but I was by no means an athlete. I didn't really diet, I was just naturally thin. And then after high school, I gained a few pounds, as most people do. But of course, I freaked out. Not the dreaded freshman 15 that we all hear about. Anybody else? Well, of course, this is normal. The freshman 15 is normal. But because of my own bad body image and some outside pressures, I began a cycle of extreme exercise and dieting to try and fix my weight gain that I thought was unhealthy. Now, we lived in hunting and gathering societies for thousands of years before now, and food was scarce. So when we came across it, we didn't restrict ourselves, we just ate, and it didn't matter what it was. And now, when we diet and we restrict ourselves, our bodies go back to that survival instinct, and they feel as if we're starving them. And that is why all diets lead to binge eating. Whether it's 5 years or 5 months, eventually you'll binge. And binge eating is not good for our mental, emotional, or physical health. I know when I was in that crazy cycle of diet and exercise, I binged. I would get so pent up with all this food that I couldn't eat that one day I'd just go crazy. I'd eat the whole dozen Krispy Kreme donuts instead of just having one. It was also one of the lowest points in my life, not only for my physical health, but my mental and my emotional health as well. Why are we so pressured to diet when it's so bad for us? Well, that's the culture and the society that we live in. Women specifically are targeted by media and advertising companies so that we buy their products. If they can make us feel less than, we'll buy their products to try and fix ourselves. We're constantly bombarded with images of the ideal body and what healthy really looks like. But are they actually? Not really. Many of these women that we see, for instance, bikini competition winners, we see that as these fit, healthy girls, and that's the ideal body. But a lot of them are using unhealthy methods to get it. Whether they're starving themselves, whether they're using laxatives, waist trainers to try and make their curves the right way. It's unhealthy. I don't know about you, but I've wanted to change my body. I've considered a waist trainer before. I want, long legs and nice booty, but then a tiny waist and, nice breasts, but not too big. We've all been there, right? Well, unfortunately, this just isn't the case for us. And when we're constantly bombarded with these images, it doesn't help. What does work is eating intuitively. What does that mean? It means we listen to our body. Our body will tell us what we need. It's no restrictions. And this type of eating works. In a study done in the Appetite Journal, which is a journal of food and nutrition, 94 college-aged women were placed in a research study. In this randomized controlled trial, women in the control group were just given information about the non-dieting approach and intuitive eating. And women in the intervention were given the information as well as put in group therapy sessions to discuss the information. This was done on 3 separate occasions, and then the women were followed up with months later. At each intervention in the control group, at each mark, the intervention group improved greatly and stayed at that improvement in their follow-up. The control group didn't see much success. Even though they had the knowledge, they weren't putting it to use. While the intervention group had that support of the group and were able to talk about it and put this to use. Your body is smart enough to tell you what it needs. All you have to do is listen to it. Many people get worried that they'll just binge and binge and binge if they follow intuitive eating, but that's not the case. At the beginning, there is a little bit of binge eating because you're not dieting anymore. But your body eventually settles, and your body will tell you what it needs. The women in the intervention group were eating higher amounts of fruits and vegetables than the control group because our bodies are smart enough to tell us what we need and will give us cravings for the nutrients that we need. If we need more iron, our body will crave, for instance, red meat. If we need more fruits and vegetables, if we're lacking some of those micronutrients, our body will crave them. What I want everyone here to do is not just take in this information. Just like in the study, we have to put it to use. Go online and join an intuitive eating support group. I have started one at Empowered by Mariah on Instagram that you are welcome to join, where we talk about intuitive eating, health at every size, and body image improvement. Join the group and stop dieting, because in the end, your physical, mental, and emotional health will all improve.